Here at T-STEM Academy, we value the hard work of individuals in all career fields. Without their constant effort, our society wouldn't be as advanced as it is today. All of our resources, techniques, and innovations are a reflection of the foundation that they set, and we are forever grateful. With that being said, please enjoy our Black History Tributes as we take the time to honor those in the areas of T-STEM and the arts.
Bessie Coleman was born on January 26, 1892 in Atlanta, Texas. She is one of 13 children to Susan and George Coleman, who both worked as sharecroppers. Her family left the family in hopes to find better opportunities, and her mother did her best to support the family. At the age of 23, she and her brothers moved to Chicago. While in Chicago, she began listening to and reading stories of World War I pilots, which piqued her interest in aviation. In 1921, Coleman began teaching herself French and even moved to France in an effort to pursue her dreams. 7 months later, she earned her license from France's well-known Caudron Brothers School of Aviation. Coleman specialized in stunt flying and parachuting and earned a living barnstorming and performing aerial tricks. In 1922, she became the first African-American woman in America to make a public flight. Coleman died on April 30th, 1926 from an accident during a rehearsal. To this day, Coleman remains a pioneer of women in the aviation field.
Now let's move to science. Mae Carol Jemison was born in Alabama, but raised in Chicago. She graduated from Stanford University with degrees in chemical engineering and African American studies. Afterwards, she earned her medical degree from Cornell University. From returning home after serving in the Peace Corps, Jemison applied to NASA's astronaut training program in October of 1985, but the selection was postponed due to the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster in the following year. Despite that, Jemison reapplied in 1987, where she was the first Black woman astronaut. With this monumental moment, Jemison received many honors and rewards, such as Gamma Sigma Sigma Woman of the Year and National Women's Hall of Fame, just to name a couple. Mae Jemison was a pioneer for women in science, and her mark remains clear to this present day.
In the realm of technology, a name that should be known and remembered is Dr. Patricia Ebath. Bath was born November 4th, 1942, in New York. She was an ophthalmologist, laser scientist, and an advocate for blindness prevention treatment and cures. She dedicated her life to medicine in the early stages of her childhood, which led her to get her medical degree from Howard University. In 1983, she was the first woman to chair an ophthalmology residency in the United States. In 1986, she discovered and invented a new device and technique for cataract surgery known as laser phaco. She first discovered this new device in 1981, but she had to wait 5 years because the technology was not available. Her passion to fight blindness continued until her death in May 2019. One of her best moments occurred in North Africa when she restored the sight of a woman who had been blind for 30 years. When asked about her career choice, she'd say this very line: "My love of humanity and passion for helping others inspired me to become a physician." Dr. Patricia Ebath.
Otis Boykin was an engineer born in Dallas, Texas. He attended Fisk University and graduated in 1941. He created his own business named Boykin Frith Incorporated, where he worked on numerous projects. Mr. Boykin received his first patent in 1959 for a wire resistor, which was popular and was used by the U.S. military for missiles and an IBM for their computers. During his lifetime, he received over 11 patents and invented 28 electronic devices. His most notable invention is the pacemaker.
Math. Born on November 9th, 1731 in Ellicott Mills, Maryland, Benjamin Banneker was the son of an ex-slave named Robert and his wife, Mary Banneker. Because both of his parents were free, Benjamin escaped the wrath of slavery as well. He was taught to read by his maternal grandmother and for a short time attended a small Quaker school. However, Banneker was mostly a self-educated man in mathematics and astrology. He is known for constructing an irrigation system for the family farm and building America's first clock. Using his rich understanding of mathematics, he accurately predicted a solar eclipse in 1789. Banneker's talents and intelligence eventually came to the attention of the Elcott family. George Elcott had a large personal library and loaned Banneker numerous books on astronomy, and from there, Banneker started to produce almanacs. Banneker's accomplishments also extended to civil rights. In 1791, he famously penned a letter to the Secretary of State, Thomas Jefferson, asking for his help in improving conditions for Africans living in the United States. This highly impressed Jefferson and convinced many that blacks were intellectually equal to whites. Without Banneker's contributions, we wouldn't know what the world of math would be like.
Last but not least, the arts. Lena Horne was born on June 30th, 1917 in Brooklyn, New York. Her mother was an actress with an African-American troupe. She came from an established middle-class family that didn't support her performance aspirations. Lena Horne was known as the Bronze Venus. She was an entertainer who mainly did singing and acting. Her rise to fame happened when she was the first African-American entertainer to sign a long-term contract with a major studio in 1942. Her most well-known works are Cabin in the Sky and Stormy Weather, with the latter being more popular. She used her fame to bring attention to the treatment of black people. During World War II, she performed for black units at her own expense, and she refused to perform before a segregated audience. She also worked with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt to enact anti-lynching legislation. She died on May 9, 2010. She may be gone, but she will never be forgotten.
Now we want to show you how much Black history means to us. So take a listen to some of our student voices.
What does Black history mean to me? Well, Black History Month was and still is a very important event in our global culture, and it is recognized around the world for its ability to shine a light on an often forgotten section of history. And in my personal life, Black History Month is important because it made strides worthy of recognition for Black people and made changes well beyond the original date of creation for anybody who felt like an outcast. With the instillment of desegregation in our communities and better school systems, I have been exposed to a great education and all different types of people from different walks of life. I've also been exposed to real-world issues that have impacted who I am, and that's why Black History Month is important to me.
My favorite moment in Black history has to be with Madam C.J. Walker. I watched her documentary on Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and it really inspired me to chase my dreams no matter what people say or do. In the documentary, you saw that she struggled with racism, colorism, and just being a Black woman in the business field. But she made her way to the top and helped a lot of Black women with their hair and keeping it healthy.
To celebrate Black history this month, I've dedicated my time into watching films surrounding Black leads, Black directors, and most importantly, Black storylines. Black cinema is important because the expression of culture it brings to our big screens. In the past decade, we have seen multiple movies feature Black actors and storylines occurring in the past, present, and even in the future. A notable director, Spike Lee, has been credited for his films highlighting race relations, political issues, and urban life. Movies such as Malcolm X and She's Gotta Have It. My favorite movies that I've watched this month are The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Black Klansman, and See You Yesterday. Not only do I enjoy watching these movies for the representation it brings, I enjoy it for the euphoric feeling I get as if I was in the movie myself. This is how I'm celebrating my Black History Month.
I am. We are products of Black history.